I didn't tear them apart and get them all powder coated or anything like that. I just tore apart what needed to come apart. Painted some stuff, filled a couple holes, painted everything front and back so that it won't rust. Won't put rust on my new paint job. Also, I like to have a nice painted surface to glue my canvas to. I've got everything laid out here. Over here I've got my headliner part of my Ragtop, and then the Stay Fast canvas. I've always used Stay Fast canvas, so I don't know what it's like to use the stock vinyl. But the Stay Fast canvas works great, looks great, seals pretty good. Right here is also a rebuild kit from West Coast Metric to repair all your rollers and whatnot. Normally this is all you really need, are these floor rollers, but occasionally one of these big ones is broke, and it comes with the rivets. As you can see right here, these are where all 4 rollers go, 2 on this side, 2 on that side, and this one gets the big rollers. If these are broke on yours, you can buy those. They're rarely broke though. And I like to pad these on all cylinders, because if you don't, when you install the headliner, you're going to see all these teeth. You're going to be able to see all these screw heads. And you can see where I've scraped off the factory stuff that was falling apart. And this is what I call trunk liner. That's what everybody calls it, trunk liner. We order it from Keystone Brothers. It's relatively cheap. It's very thin and it hides all the imperfections like that. Here's my glue gun. I buy glue from the upholstery shops, about the 5-gallon barrels. This is just a cheap ass old. It's an HLP siphon feed gun, but they're just cheap. You can get them at Harbor Freight or wherever. I never clean this gun, as you can see, by the gun. So fill it up with glue and just let it roll. Stuff is contact adhesive, so you gotta put it on both pieces, let it dry a little bit, and put everything together. I don't want to get glue all over the front of this metal, and it'd be almost impossible if I do something, so I'm going to tape that. Because I don't know how many of you guys have had a car in a upholstery shop, but they get glue everywhere. I'll tape this off so I don't get glue all over it. It takes less time to prep it in the first place than to clean it in the second place. You guys see how this is pretty much dry? It's barely sticking to me at all. That's pretty much ready to go together. I cut this way big because I'm going to stick it on there, glue it down, and I'm going to trim it exactly how I want it. Got my hole put on this. Once you get these parts together, they stay together really well, so take your time and get it right on. So you're not pulling it apart and having to re-glue it. And take your razor blade, and basically you want to cut right against that finger right there.
Not the one with the band-aid on it.
Got a trunk liner on here, and you can still kind of see where those screw heads are. But I'll be honest with you, I've seen headliners on Ragtops where I can see the head of that screw. So this is going to make it a lot less. And now you won't be able to see the fingers. We trimmed it, and then we get the headliner in there and hammer it down. It'll be nice and soft and padded. So I'm done with that. Put the canvas to the front and rear bow. Factory riveted these. I always glue them. I always have glue them. Never had a problem with them. I guess I assume most people glue them nowadays. Let's get them over here. These holes back here correspond with the holes in this bow, the rear bow, and they go through the body. bolts down on the back. You don't necessarily have to glue these, but if you don't glue them, put it up on the car, it's going to be flipped up like that, and it looks kind of stupid, like you got a wing on your Honda or something. So I glue them to prevent that. Okay, my experience is you need to get this in here first and see if you want to do any trimming. Like I said earlier, that glue, once you put that glue and everything, put it together, this get apart. As you can see, like these, this is laying up against that. So I'm going to trim that a little bit. Right here, right here. I'm going to trim that right now before I start gluing. You can't see any part of this once the Ragtop's all together. And take your time and do a good job, but it's not crazy crucial. Don't be nervous to work on your Volkswagen. See, that shit is tough. Let's get off my scissors here. Alright, I got these trimmed out, so it should lay in there nicely after getting on glued. Another thing I'm going to do, I'll show you guys before I glue it. The factory puts some padding right along this edge right here, and it's almost always missing, and that's part of what helps it seal. So I'm going to go grab some of that, put that on real quick. Yeah, you can put your Ragtop together without this. I've done it a bunch of times, but I think you'll be happier with the install if you put something back in there. I tried to save the factory stuff, but it was just missing too many chunks and it wouldn't have looked good. This is basically something you can get at Home Depot or any hardware store. 5/16 thick. You don't have to get this exact thing. I mean, it can be anything. You just want to get some padding up under the front of your Ragtop. Any kind of stick-on foam stuff. So that when you close it, there's some padding up there to help it seal. Alright guys, we've got our new pad on there. Cut a little angle on it in the end, so it won't like have a ledge. I'll stick this in here, and I'm only going to glue this underside. That doesn't always work, but we're going to try to make it work today, because gluing both sides is a major pain. You want to make sure you get these all the way along the same contour and angle of your header bolt. I've seen lots of them where they're, once they got them glued, they're all pulled over like this. You know, once again, that doesn't look good at all. So I'm going to start some gluing here now. Only glue one side at a time, guys. I'll try to do both sides at once, as in the front and the back. I would recommend you glue both sides of this, left and right at the same time. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the outside. I'm going to try to get it really tight and center it up. And I'm going to pull this all the way to the front. And I want that all the way over the front of that bow. And I haven't pushed it down at all yet. I'm still trying to make sure I got it in enough. It feels like I do. So I'm going to start right here in the middle. And I'm going to start pushing the glue together. I'm going to start right here. Keep it nice and tight. Work my way out. If anything, bend this down a little. You guys aren't going to believe how tight these new Ragtops are. You swear you're going to rip your material shutting it, break something. Right down tight. All these little bubbles out. Everything, and then before I go all the way around this corner, I'm going to come out here and make sure that's up against there, and I'm going to pull this tight. Glue it down. That. Make sure all this is good and glued tight. Work it in here and just get all that, and see if you keep working it, You can get it all glued down tight. Okay, now I'm going to start running this way. When you get all this stuff installed, I don't like to glue the top side of this header bolt because it is going to pull, when you get it shut, it's going to pull it back like that and get it straight. I don't like to glue it because if you glue that on and you don't get it in just the right spot, when it does pull it back, it's going to look funny. So I like to leave it loose if I can, but I'll be honest with you, I have had to glue them because they wouldn't stay on. This wasn't enough because these things are tight as all snot. So anyway, now we're going to glue the rear on. Most of the time the rear is not glued or anything, like you pull a factory one apart. But once again, I find that these glue ones are so tight that if I don't glue them, same thing, it's going to pop that up when you shut it. So I don't like it. It looks bad. So I glue them. Once again, I'm going to try to only glue this bottom side. I'm going to try to make sure these are all like pulled over this way. Because the car will push them back level, just people to the car. But you know, if you start it out like that, there's nothing is going to bring it back down for you once you get it on. So try to start out in this direction. Start out what I call the ball on your side of the table, and let the body just push it back flat. You get this in here where it goes. As you can see, they already have the cutouts and everything for you. That's where it goes. I'm going to put some glue in there and glue it. And yeah, if you guys don't have a glue gun at home, you can brush this glue on it too. Alright guys, we're going to put these packs in. You got to leave these two small rails out. Get everything in. I've already got my screws up here, so I better get them out. These rails, they look pretty good. I just polished them myself with like an automotive buffer. Compact.